Good day or good evening, actually, top of the day to you, because it is 12:24 a.m. on May the 2nd, and I am feeling good and I'm feeling great. This is just an update. As you can tell, I am very mellow, and there's a reason for that. I don't have to say it, but you know. And this weekend, I had to come to terms with a part of my shadow work that I have been not willing to accept. And I noticed some things too. I noticed some things about myself, right? And I had to come to grips with who I am today and what this world is like today. Okay? I don't I don't think I wanted to see the evilness in the world. When I was watching the news, I thought it was like, or I told myself it was like isolated incidences that the murderers and rapists and child abduction and molestation, and that it was not common, even though we seen glimpses of it. Really, it was just glimpses of it in the world from my perspective. Okay. And when I became awakened and I went down the rabbit hole, and depending on where you are at in your journey, hello, my loves. I hope you are well. I do. And I am absolutely, positively, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, sending you guys peace of mind during this time. Because there's a lot going on in the world. And I didn't realize how much the evil went rampant until I was led to my spiritual path. And I started uncovering a lot of things around me, which inevitably led me back to me, because it's like, okay, you'll feel like you're going crazy. And then when you get back to yourself and you realize you're still confused and nothing you're thinking and doing is making any sense, that's when you go back to God, the Most High. You have to, because how do you make sense of the world? Well, you don't have to. You really don't, because I do know that there's such things called atheists, and I don't know. I would love to talk to one, just to have a intelligent conversation, because I have questions, and I'm willing to answer any questions to the best of my abilities if they have them. But I've known God my whole life, and we were introduced early in my life because there was a pain so deep that I'm still unpacking. But knowing that this world is ran on a spiritual realm and what has been done to me and what is probably and most likely being done to you if you're tuned into this channel for whatever reason and you clicked on this channel, welcome. I go by Spiritually Savage, but people know me as Danielle or Danny. And so I send you peace of mind. And I'm sending you compassion for yourself and those that are around you. And it will be difficult to do both of those things. And I am learning every step of the way. Because as I know that I am fighting battles spiritually that manifest physically, I know you are too. However it may manifest or come to be in your life. There may be certain things you have to accept about yourself and accept about the people around you. Okay? But have compassion. And some days having compassion for either you and those around you may come few and far between. But keep striving for compassion and wholeness for yourself and those that are around you. Slowly but surely, I am learning that my heart is opening up because I put myself in their shoes, and I was. But it's very difficult when negativity is being thrown your way. So I cannot say and make light of it and be like, oh, turn the other cheek. Once you get past your hurt and your pain and get to the origin of it, the compassion part will become easier. And it's taken me this long to even, begin to soften my heart. And I'm just being completely honest because, of course, pain. And of course, once your heart feels that type of pain, you don't ever want to feel that type of pain again, and you will do almost anything not to feel that pain again. But I'm not willing to lose my soul for it. I'm just not. And I'm also not willing to lose my peace of mind for it. So where is the balance, right? That's what I'm learning and what I have struggled to, because basically you have to put up boundaries. That is definitely a weakness which now I am turning into a strength of mine. It's not been easy. Not by a long shot. Because boundaries to me meant closing my heart. I had to, though, in the beginning. I had to, because it was wide open. And I did not use my discernment, even though I felt and I saw. I always saw the light, and that's not a bad thing. The bad thing is denying the darkness, within and without. And so I am learning to accept the darkness within and without. And become friends with it. Because it's a part of me. And it's a part of this world. Which sucks. I didn't want to see it. I cried many a nights. Even from the things that I've done. Not just speaking about, what others. Because this is a inward journey. It really is. And once you come to integrate the light and the dark within and without, life will become a little bit more easier for you to be who you are and for you to feel what you feel. Some days I feel like dancing. Some days I don't. Some days I feel like working out and some days I don't. But I'm learning to recognize the pitfalls that I have cultivated over years. And without sitting down, I wouldn't have seen the pattern. I seen the pattern, but I wouldn't have had time to sit still enough to unpack what, when, where, how, why. And that's tough. But compassion. I am very grateful that I have this time. I know I fight against it, but it's only because I know my own space. But I'm grateful. And I will begin to show it more. Without bringing the past in, I will just bring that day. And I know I've been holding a grudge. And it's not even a grudge. When I say when people say grudge, it has like a negative connotation to it. Meaning it has a negative vibe to it. It has a negative emotion towards it. But really what a grudge is pain. That's all a grudge is. It's pain. When you get to the root of a grudge, it's because whatever happened caused your heart pain, which caused emotional trauma, which caused you to, every time you wake up, you think about what they did, what they said, not living in that day. And I'm just now learning this, y'all, like right now. Me speaking it right now is me learning it and me processing it and recognizing what I've been doing. So I'm speaking to myself, but I'm speaking to you guys at the same exact time. And what I recognize that I've been doing is when I wake up in the morning, I do the same thing. I clean up, I drink my tea, I'm singing or whatever. But I'm also learning how to fight spiritually in the physical, though. And part of that is not holding the past, even when it presents itself to you in the here and now, not holding it against yourself first and foremost for allowing whatever happened back then to happen back then, but not allowing myself to bring that same emotion that I felt back then, when in which I should have said this and I should have said that, and I shouldn't allow it to interfere with what is going on here and right now. And for the most part, I do a pretty decent job. But I realize I took a part of my personality away. Hence the cooking videos, because I love to cook. And that's been a major part of my mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional journey. Like, all of it has been surrounded and encompassing food. And so I got to share a part of my personality to a certain extent, because normally I would have music playing in the background and be dancing, because that's how I do. Always have. No matter what I'm cooking. And sometimes, I cook in silence. But I realized I had tucked a part of that away because of my own insecurities about what others would think and what others would say. And I realize now that I was limiting myself to other people's limitations, not mine. And growing up, I didn't do that. So this is kind of weird, because it's like whatever was programmed in me to do at an early age, I did not do. It didn't kick in until like 30, and I went through like a whole phase, and I've talked about that in all the other earlier videos. And so now, me thinking about how I was like able to block out the negativity, and just because I kept seeing the light, that's how I blocked it out. I saw the light. When I saw people's pain, I knew I had pain, and I knew that, maybe some struggled more than others. So I always saw the light. I never saw that it was being manipulated or taken advantage of. And then when I did, I'll be so honest with y'all, it pissed me off. It pissed me completely off. But when you're on the spiritual walk, God is asking you to forgive. And it's like, okay, I'm going to forgive, but I'm still pissed off. So what do I do about it? What do I do about being pissed off? What do I do about being mad as hell? What do I do about it? Because I'm pissed off. And it's difficult when you're pissed off at people you love. It hurts. It really does. And I am learning to see their pain, though, through my own. Every day, I'm learning to give a little bit more of myself with boundaries. And that's just basically being me, though. Being who I was before I found out how life really is. Spiritually. This is a spiritual realm, y'all. This is not a physical realm. This is not a physical realm. This is not a physical realm. Everything you are experiencing is because of a spiritual battle that is being waged on us. And I didn't even know that it was possible. I really didn't. Because I was so attached to the physical world. But as a war is being waged on me, it's being waged on you, and it's being waged on the people around you too. And so if this is your first time clicking onto this channel, and this is your first video, and you are beginning or in the middle, you may find what I'm saying to be like, you still pissed off. And I'm still pissed off, but slowly but surely I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. For my own health. For my own health. And I didn't realize, I did not realize or even understand the why. But as I'm sitting still with not too many distractions, I'm beginning to have compassion. It's hard, and I'm struggling. I've not been ashamed to admit that. But now I'm beginning to understand and understand why I'm struggling, because that subconscious programming that I was able to ignore kicked in full force at a point in time in my life. And some of you may have experienced it in the beginning of your life, and you're at the point where I am at. And you may be younger than me, and that's okay. If you clicked onto this channel, it's for a reason, especially this video. It's hard. It's difficult. But every day, I make sure I do something different to get back to who I am at the core of me. Not worrying about how others will perceive it or what they are thinking about how I am acting, feeling, doing, showing, expressing. When you've gone through as much as I have, it's real easy to ignore people's opinion, especially when you know they have never gone through what you've gone through. But disrespect will not be tolerated, though. Not on no levels. And I don't take myself too serious. I can take myself very lightly, I'm a comedian at heart. So, and that's that part. But there is a fine line between disrespect and, comedy. And, I'm not going to self-deprecate. What's the word? Self-deprecate? I'm not going to do that. Like put myself down or nothing like that. But there are certain situations where, listen, you can't take yourself too serious. You really can't. You gotta laugh at life too. You gotta laugh. And you gotta laugh at yourself. But there are certain times where it's real inappropriate given a certain circumstance. But Listen, I laugh at inappropriate times, so that's why I say I can take a joke, but I will not tolerate disrespect. That being said, I send you guys so much love as I am relearning to love myself in a whole new way. And so are you, or so you soon will be. And it's not going to be easy. Listen, 3 years in, a little bit more than that, really my whole life. But in knowing, actually about 4, I'm going to say 2018 or so. 2019 is when it kicked into high gear because I got laid off. So I really had time to like kind of sit still, but not really. Learning boundaries. And know that's a fine line too. And I am learning not to bring in old emotions. I'm learning. Because I'm learning to see other people's pain, but not allowing disrespect. That's the thing. And not getting pulled in to other people's energies when I really have nothing to be worried about, even though I worry. But every day I'm learning not to, and to trust the process. When things get difficult, I repeat that sometimes. Trust the process. Trust the process. I repeat that sometimes. Trust the process. So I aim to show my gratitude more. And the only way I know how to do that is being my authentic self. Not giving of myself as I used to, not to the extent, not having such an open heart that I allow manipulation and all that other stuff, but to the point where I don't feel like I'm hiding pieces and parts of myself. That's been a process. It's been a long process. The word arduous comes to mind, which basically means what I just said. Long. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't listen. Y'all are my journal right now because I cannot find a pen in the house. And I have asked everybody and their mama in the house for a pen several times, and I've gotten them. I done used like a bunch of them, y'all. Plus, I've run out of journal space, most of it. So, you guys are my journal because I really would like to write, but I am unable to at the moment. So, this is probably what I would be writing, except for I would be writing it. And thank you for allowing me to experience me in my wholeness. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for me bringing me on this path. It would go something like that in the beginning, and then I'm like, I didn't even know that's how I was doing. That's how I talk to myself in my journal. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, I didn't even know. You don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. And when you realize you don't know it, you're like, dang. Oh my goodness. And I realized that this life is going to be that. And for all the videos that I've watched, they all keep saying the same thing: get to know thyself. Even psychiatrists say that, get to know thyself. I never knew what that meant, or I thought I did. But I've come to realize and recognize, even up to now, that I'm still discovering what that means. And I thought I knew myself. You can't tell me. The people around you, you know, will know who you are. And if you're anything like me, you couldn't tell me I didn't know myself. And you may be feeling the exact same thing, that you thought you knew yourself, which means you thought you knew the people around you, and which means you thought you knew this world, which means we ain't know Nathan. I just watched a video where this man was talking about why 95% of the population is poor and why the others are not. And his explanation was definitely right on. It was right on, and he talked about a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had the book and I never got to read the book because I let someone borrow the book and I never got it back. And then I never thought to buy it again. And I wonder why. And now I know why. But in this video he talks about it. And he talks about that, you know, children run on beta. I'm paraphrasing. If I remember to do it, I'll put it in the bottom. But if you Google why 95% of the population, I'm sure it'll come up. And if you do it on YouTube, is basically what I'm saying. And as I listened with my eyes closed, I was like, oh wow. Which now I want to read the book even more. But he said that a child learns everything they need to know by the time they're 7 years old, and they learn it by observation. So if you're born into poverty, then you have a